Up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sports Talk Live. It's your host, Coach Jacob. I am recording live from the Teen Center. We are back onto the campus, back at the golf course. It feels good to be here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. Coach Brian may be joining us. He's got a lot going on at the moment. We're all staying protected, and he's got a few responsibilities that he needs to take care of at the moment. But in the meantime, let's jump right into the sports. So it's been a crazy week. As we mentioned, baseball has been a doozy. So we saw the A's actually, lose to the Houston Astros. I know I'm an A's fan, and I was really talking about how they were going to pull it off, but unfortunately, got the best of us this time. But, we got a few more games to look at. The New York Yankees series is tied with the Tampa Bay Rays. We have the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the series against San Diego. They're going to be going up against the Atlanta Braves, who beat the Florida Marlins. So we got the Dodgers and the Marlins, and then we're going to have the Houston Astros going against Tampa Bay or the New York Yankees for the ALCS. It's going to be interesting. All these teams I think pretty much everybody's proven that they're a top team, that they deserve to be there. So these next few weeks, or I should say these next few games that we see, they're going to be very exciting. It's going to be a whole lot of action. And definitely don't miss that. Tune in to all the baseball that you can, because we're getting close to one of the biggest events in sports, which is the World Series. All right. So as we near the World Series, again, we got these 4 teams remaining. It seems like there's a lot of people that are rooting for the Yankees right now. The reason is probably because a lot of people don't want the Astros to win after their controversial, the controversies that they've been going through lately. But I'm really pulling for New York as well for the AL side, and on the NL side, I wouldn't mind seeing the Dodgers go. I know half of you guys are going to be very mad that I said that. Half of you guys are going to be glad I said that. If you're a Bay Area fan, you're probably not happy I said that, but I definitely think that they have the capability of doing it. I know a lot of the game the other day, a lot of people were very, very nervous about it, but they pulled it off, and it was a great finish. So very, very exciting, and stay tuned for some more playoff baseball, folks, because it's coming at you hot, it's coming at you quick, and the first game that we have is actually, let's see here. There's one today. So we have the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays playing today, and the winner would be advancing to play the Houston Astros. All right. So if any of you guys are Houston Astro fans, or maybe you're a Yankees fan, or maybe you're a Dodger fan, go ahead and drop a like in the comment. Let us know who's your favorite team. Who are you rooting for in these playoffs? Who do you think is going to win the World Series? It could be anybody's game right now. Everybody thinks that the Astros might take it, but they also want them to lose. So it's crazy right now what's going on. Hit that like button. Drop your comment in on who do you think is going to win this year's World Series. And in the news of the NBA, I think we all know what's going on right now. We have the NBA Finals going down right now. Today, we have the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat in Game 5. Most people think that the Lakers are going to take it today. Game 4 was pretty much in the finals. Every game is a must-win, but that Game 4 was huge for both teams. The Lakers needed it to keep their momentum and keep fighting, and then the Heat needed that win to maintain their momentum from the previous win and try to carry that forth to propel them to get to make this series a little more even. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do it. The Lakers played a very, very good game. It was rough. It was really rough for the Heat. They played their hearts out, but it just wasn't enough for them to pull out a victory. And I know a lot of people in this area are rooting for the Lakers, and a lot of people are also rooting against them. So it's one of those, it's a 50-50 chance that somebody here is going to be rooting against the Lakers, or rooting for the Lakers because of just how caliber a team they are right now. They are firing on all cylinders at the moment. They just look unstoppable. It doesn't seem like the Heat have an answer for Anthony Davis. He's just dominating. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see Anthony Davis leave with the NBA Finals MVP. He's playing that good. It's a good argument. Who do you think is going to win Finals MVP? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. Who do you think? A lot of people are going to say LeBron. I think most people are expecting it to be LeBron because of he's been the leader of the team, and even statistically, Anthony Davis has just been a monster. It's not the same without LeBron on that court. His leadership is it's too much for the Heat to handle right now. He knows what's going to happen before it's even happening. I think there was a comment made. I can't remember which player said it now, but there was a comment made by a player saying that when they were playing against LeBron, that it felt like LeBron knew the plays that they were running before they even called them. So he knew it was going to happen before it even happened, before they even thought about it. He knew what they were going to come at them with. So, a lot of people are going to say that LeBron has just been too dominant. But statistically, I think AD's that factor. He's that real factor for LA, where you can't just zero in on LeBron and try to shut him out and force the other teammates to win, because they will do it. They have that ability. They're so deep, and they're a scary team right now. So it's going to be an interesting night. Will the whole city of Los Angeles and a lot of California be celebrating tonight? Could be. I'm really hoping that Miami pulls out another one, only because, again, I'm loving this playoff basketball. I can't get enough of the NBA Finals. I want it to continue. I want Miami to hopefully take us to a Game 7, and then from there, whatever happens, happens. But I want more basketball. I don't want it to end yet. So, rooting for the Miami Heat in tonight's game. I'm a big fan of Jimmy Butler, and Tyler Hero has been doing an excellent job. They've been playing with an injured team. Goran Dragic has been out, and so is Bam Adebayo. But that really shows something about the perseverance and the resilience that the Heat have. They've been down, two of their best players. They have three best players on their team, which is obviously Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are their main guys. But without Bam and Goran Dragic, Goran just puts up so many points and so many assists for the team. His vision is just very, very vital to their success. And without him, it's a lot different. So Tyler Hero got to start, but he's definitely shown that he can take it. Tyler Hero's the youngest player to ever start a game in the NBA Finals at age 20. So, and he's proven that he belongs in the league. He's proven that he belongs on the starting lineup, and he's excelling very, very well. So, kudos to the Miami Heat for getting where they are today. I hope that they can advance and take a little more to it. And there's a whole lot of injuries going on in sports right now. Kristaps Porzingis is undergoing some knee surgeries, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. So we hope for speedy recoveries for all of our favorite athletes, and those who are not necessarily our favorite. We want a speedy recovery for everybody, so that way we can enjoy some good quality, safe, fun sports. Who do you guys think is going to win? Let me know. Why do you think the Heat are going to win, or why do you think the Lakers are going to win? I know that the Lakers are up 3-1 right now, so they have I think it's a 94% chance of taking it. But like I said, I'm really hoping that Miami can do something so that we can continue our playoffs, our NBA Finals. I don't want basketball to end just yet. It's too soon. So Oh man, there's just so much to cover for today. It's already been announced that Dragic out for the game. So, and some pretty cool news: the NBA is returning to China, and they're going to actually be televising some games from China in the next couple seasons, following the year ban that they had. So, it's going to be really interesting to see the NBA really grow itself into other areas. And I know that if you don't know, anyways, NBA is the league premier basketball league to join for the entire world. So all other countries that have professional athletic basketball team or leagues, that is, they all wish, and their main goals usually to try to get into the NBA. So for to see the NBA expand a little bit, I know we have pulled players from like Europe and Australia and a bunch of other places, but China is one of those places that we haven't really tapped into too much. So it's really interesting to see them expand a little bit that way, and start recording games out in China. It's gonna be a lot of fun. The In head coaching news, the Kings name Alvin Gentry, the head coach. We talked about last week how Doc Rivers got signed to Philadelphia 76ers, and it's going to be interesting next season to see how everything plays out following the draft, and how all these new teams are gonna. A lot of these teams are going to be brand new. They're going to at least look or feel that way. That is, um, I'm especially excited for to see what happens with the Warriors and what happens with their draft coming up. So, yes, there's just too much going on in sports right now. Too many like main headlines, and there's so many things. It's a great time to be a sports fan. So tune in if you're playing fantasy football. You're hitting your close to your mid-season mark now, and oh man, fantasy football it's going great for me. It's going great for me right now. I hope it's going great for you. If you have a fantasy football team, drop your record in the comments. Let me know what's your team record looking like right now. I currently have 4 leagues. I am doing very well in all of my leagues, undefeated in all my leagues but one. So, you want some fantasy football advice? Send it my way. Send it my way. As soon as Coach Brian gets in, we talk about fantasy football, and he's got some great input for some people as well. But we're gonna jump over to one of my favorite sports to talk about, and we got the NFL. So there were a lot of games yesterday. We got to see a Thursday night football matchup, which in all honesty, I was hoping it was going to be a little more exciting, but I was really happy with the outcome. I was glad to see we had Chicago Bears playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I was really excited to see Nick Foles, make his first career start for the Bears, and actually pull out a victory against Tom Brady. He has shown that even though he's has been cut by a few teams and been traded away and so on, he can still be that guy. He can still be, he's very underrated, and he just needs to find a place where the people there believe in him. And I think that's what he may have found in Chicago. So he had an excellent game. Of course, there were, a lot of people say about his throwing, he can't hit his target for the life of him. But other than maybe 1 or 2 bad passes, he was really, really on point, and he was dropping dimes yesterday. So he did bring the team back, and for a fourth quarter comeback at the very end, and Tom Brady could not rebuttal from that. So it was the reason why I say it wasn't as fun to watch, maybe because it wasn't as high scoring, but it was a slow start for both teams, you could say. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did put on some really good drives, but they started off okay, and they just couldn't finish moving forward. But let's move on to some games that we have coming up this week. All right. So there are quite a few games coming up this week. We got a few postponements going on as well. So you'll see that there is a game that got postponed to Tuesday. So we actually are going to have, which is very interesting, we're going to have a Tuesday night football. Yes, Tuesday night. So going forward, this week we have the Los Angeles Rams going against the Washington Redskins, and we're going to start the weekly pick 'em right now. Coach Brian, hopefully he can make it in and join us for the stream, so that way he can give us his picks. But let's go ahead and jump right in. We got the 3-1 Rams going against the 1-3 Washington football team, and for my weekly pick 'em, I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams. They're too dynamic at the moment for the Washington football team to handle, I believe. And it's gonna be an interesting game though, because Washington is starting to finally find themselves. It seems like, and they're doing okay, but they're making a lot of changes at quarterback right now. Kyle Allen's making his first start for the team, so it's going to be interesting to watch them play. Next up, we got Philadelphia 1-2-1 going against the 3-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm gonna take Pittsburgh on this one, and I actually think that it could be a close game. I'm expecting a close game. I don't expect any blowout whatsoever, but I just think that the Pittsburgh Steelers have a lot more going for them right now. There's too many injuries that have been happening in Philadelphia as for offensively for them to be as high scoring as they need to be in this game. Pittsburgh has some weapons, and they're showing that they could be a real threat moving later on into the season. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh there. And then we also have the Arizona Cardinals going against the New York Jets. Arizona Cardinals are 2-2. New York Jets are 0-4. There's a lot of people who will instantly go to say that the New York Jets just aren't a good team. Well, it's hard to disagree with the 0-4 record. I think that they do have some potential to win a few games, and I don't expect them to do anything great this season, but it's a little rough for them. So I'm definitely going to have to take the Arizona Cardinals on this one, and as they bounce back, because they've been having some rough couple of weeks as well. And then we also have the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Las Vegas Raiders are 2-2, and the Kansas City Chiefs are 4-0. I think it's obvious where everyone's going to select this game. The Kansas City Chiefs just look way too high power of an offense. They have way too high powered of an offense. Their defense is just very stingy right now, and I think that Josh Jacobs will probably have a good game against Kansas. But other than that, I'm expecting Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes to blow out the Las Vegas Raiders. One of the next games we got, which actually could be a very interesting matchup, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-3 going against the 0-4 Houston Texans. I know, exciting matchup between the 1-3 and 0-4 team. Believe it or not, these, especially for Houston, they are really right now finding out what kind of a team they are. They have a whole new type of a look and feel to their offense without DeAndre Hopkins and the addition of David Johnson. So can they get David Johnson going? I think that's going to be the factor. If they can get him moving and, it's been tough for David Johnson for sure, especially overcoming some injuries, but I really like him as a player. He has a lot of great skills, and he has the ability to be a top running back in the league again. It's at this point, we just got to hope that the Texans can let that happen. I am going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. It's a tough one for me because I do want to root for Deshaun Watson, but at the moment, unless they've got it figured out this week, I just think Jacksonville is going to finally show who they are and offensively, and I know that Houston's defense, Houston's secondary has been a little tough, so they're a bit stingy. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out, but I'm going to take Jacksonville. And then we got the 3-1 Baltimore Ravens hosting the 1-2-1 Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens on this week's show. And I think it's tough to root against. I shouldn't say to root, but it's tough to pick against the Ravens when they're just so good offensively. Lamar Jackson, just he's a magic man. He's a magician. Makes so many things happen from under the center there. So I have to take Lamar Jackson to take a victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. And then we got the 2-2 Carolina Panthers taking on the 0-4 Atlanta Falcons. As I mentioned in last week's show, I can't ever root or pick against the Carolina Panthers. Even though I'm mad at some of their offseason moves, I cannot root against them. And I am going to take the Carolina Panthers over the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be interesting, though. I know that the Falcons are 0-4. And a lot of people are saying, that they've been choking lately. But this is not a team to take lightly. They have a lot of good players on their team. And anything can happen at any moment. So just because they're 0-4 doesn't mean that something big might not happen for this team. Our secondary is young for Carolina Panthers. That is, they are young and inexperienced in the NFL. So it's possible, that these Falcon wide receivers take advantage of that. But it's going to be interesting. They're young. Like I said, the Carolina secondary is young, but they are pretty good. So that's a game that I'm definitely going to be watching, taking the Panthers on that one. And then we have the Miami Dolphins at 1-3 going against the San Francisco 49ers at 2-2. So the 49ers, they've been a little bit, I know they've been injured, but they've been a little bit of a disappointment. They've had their injuries were actually really crucial injuries. Some of their big players, some of their main players, some players that they needed for the success of their offense or for their defense. But, and especially now and with COVID-19 and our time of pandemic and how things are working, this is literally a next man up type of a league. So I get it. Somebody's hurt, but the next man up needs to get the job done. And the 49ers just, they pulled one out recently, and but they've also have been a little disappointing for some people. I expected them to be a little better this year. I did not expect them to be at 2-2 at this point. I expected them at least maybe lost one game, but definitely see where this is going to go. Can they turn it around? We will see. I'm going to take San Francisco this week, even though they've been messing up. I think that they can bring it back. Jimmy Garoppolo said that he's going to be returning this week, so that's going to be a nice addition for their offense and get things going correctly and see if they can bring themselves back to where they need to be. And then we have the 0-4 New York Giants going against the Dallas Cowboys at 1-3. It's really hard to choose the Giants at this point. They have had some crucial injuries. They got a young team as well, and they're still developing. But it's really hard to choose them. So I'm going to have to stick with the Dallas Cowboys taking the victory over the New York Giants. Moving on, we have both teams at 3-1. The Indianapolis Colts going against the Cleveland Browns. Who would have thought that the Cleveland Browns would be 3-1 right now? They haven't had necessarily dominant games other than one, and they haven't been like very extraordinary as far as like excitement wise, other than a few gadget plays that they ran with Odell Beckham. Other than those Odell Beckham plays, they haven't been very exciting to watch whatsoever. It's kind of tough, but they've been managing to pull out their victories. Indianapolis Colts, they've proved to have one of the top defenses this year. They are a tough team. I'm actually thinking that they're going to take this game. So I'm going to choose the Indianapolis Colts this week. They have, a lot of new players on their offense. I'm not too sure what's going on with the receiving core right now, but I believe in them, and I think that they are going to take this week's game. And then we have Minnesota Vikings at 1-3 visiting the Seattle Seahawks at 4-0. I think it's clear we're going to take the Seahawks on this one. They are just extremely high-powered. Russell Wilson's playing at an MVP level. He is throwing 4 to 5 touchdowns a game. Who does that? That is insane. So definitely taking Seattle Seahawks on this one. I think it's going to be a shootout. Minnesota Vikings are finally finding themselves. They're finding their own, and they're getting in a groove now. So let's see what they can do. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game fantasy-wise, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then we got the Denver Broncos at 1-3 taking on the New England Patriots at 2-2. We're not sure if Cam Newton's going to be returning yet, but I am still going to take the New England Patriots at 2-2 to defeat the 1-3 Denver Broncos. And then moving on, again, we got two more games to talk about. This is our Monday. That was one of our Monday night games. Our second Monday night game is against the LA Chargers versus at 1-3 versus the New Orleans Saints at 2-2. Drew Brees and the Saints haven't been the same, especially without Michael Thomas. If Michael Thomas returns, it's hard to root against the Saints right now, especially with some injuries that have happened to the Los Angeles Chargers. So I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints, even though it kills me because I'm a Panthers fan and I don't want to. I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints to defeat the Los Angeles Chargers. And then Tuesday night, this is the game that was postponed, but this is also going to be one of the games that everyone's been waiting for. So both teams are undefeated. Buffalo at 3-0. Tennessee, as you know, had their game postponed last week to move to week 7 or 8, and they are 3-0. So both teams undefeated. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, but I just feel that the Buffalo Bills are going to be taking this game. They're going to stay undefeated. I think missing a week so early on in the season is definitely going to hurt Tennessee. They've had too much going on as far as the pandemic issues going on and getting fined, and they're not looking in. They had another player test positive recently, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think in their very last round, though, the Titans did have an all negative COVID test, so they're good to play, which is why they're playing this week. And the game got postponed for that reason, but they're still going to play. So it's going to be interesting to watch on Tuesday night football. It's something that we're not used to, but it's going to be a blast. Who do you guys think is going to win? Just a quick update on last week's pick'em. I won week 1, and I continue to win week 2 against Coach Brian. He's one game behind. I had 10 correct teams announced for the win, and he had 9. So good luck to Coach Brian. I know he didn't get to make it today for the stream. Didn't get to announce his picks. He's going to put his picks in anyways, and we're still going to count them next week. Thank you guys for joining, and I'm out.